Technical difficulties. Hot mic alert. Well, we build it as we fly it. I will be your mediator for the evening, and I go by the name of Mister. So, welcome back to Ask Jon Doe. I think this is episode number 3. Uh, I got another executive producer in the background putting people on the screen before they should. Tip, tip, tip. So, without further ado, I bring to you all, I bring to the nation, I bring to the world, Mr. Jon Doe.
What's going on? What's going on? You know what's happening is Ask Jon Doe. Of course, that's the name of the show. Bring it to me, man. Let's make it good. You know, so much on my mind. I could be sharing all the doggone time, but that ain't the point. It's not about me. I'm doing this for you. So we got Jon Doe being brought to you by Atlanta Cast Network. Thank you for this. And thank you to myself for being in solid mind and health. Hell, I want to have some fun with this, y'all. You know, of course, man, no topic is a bad topic. And once we go on, can't nobody stop it. So, hey, bring it to me. Let's do it. You know,
So yeah, 770-852-0569 is the hotline. No question is a stupid question
yeah,
is
yeah.
our tagline. Call into the show or put your questions into the comment chat and we will be happy to answer them. So
Hey,
Jon Doe, what are
what's
we
up?
talking
What
about
up?
tonight?
Man, shoot. It's a lot of things we can cover, but right now what show up the most is gangs and politics. They don't have to have nothing to do with each other, but if you sit back and look hard enough, they probably direct relatives, might even be siblings. You know what I mean? Shoot, man, we got things like red and blue campaigning on the politician scene. You see what I'm saying? Hey, we got colors waving out here in the urban environment and beyond. You know, of course, gangs is bigger than do rags and drive-bys. Hey, I mean that's a pretty big picture. You see, and that's part of what moved me to talk about it a little bit when we talk gangs and gang membership and not to make myself sound like I'm some sort of expert, but just to take a general overview on how that directly applies to our reality. And that's one thing you can expect when you're talking to Jon Doe is that it's more than what's on surface. We're gonna bring it to the flow. You know what I'm saying? So to dive in with gangs and being from an urban type of environment, I'm familiar with all the colors that can be when it come to banging from A to Z and
Mm-hmm.
looking at what it took growing up and watching some of the choices be made, people picking games like it's a draft for the doggone major leagues, and some people just like the colors, and some people join because that's what all their friends is doing. You know what I mean? But I've been able to look at things from a bird's eye view when it comes to dealing with these games too. You know what I mean? And it's like, man, I'm watching so many people across the world and across the country just generally want to be a part of something. You know what I mean? Nobody really wants to be left out. And that's the underlying tone that I'm seeing for what's going on, and to find comfort in that arena, it speaks volumes to how we interact with ourselves and each other. You know what I mean? To
Mm-hmm.
see that growing up, how something so deadly can look so cool. You know what I mean? To read that some of the older friends will call us some fools. But when it comes to really putting it down out here, a lot of these gangs can really make a fool out of you. You know what I mean? Because there's real power in these structures. When it comes to camaraderie behind these colors, it's serious. And that showed me that, man, we can come together. When I say we, I ain't talking about just color and ethnic base. I say we as people, we have the ability to come together, but under what conditions? And that's some of the underlying principles that I noticed that is across the board when it comes to gangs. They're standing on principles like, what does this mean? Why are we doing what we doing? And we could come together to tear this thing up before we could come together and build this thing back up. It's something that is well within our hands of power, like a hammer. You can remove a nail or you can drive one in. You know what I mean? Power is power, y'all. And how we use it is in the hands of the user. Bingo, right? So with these gangs, I don't know what's on your brain, but I can keep this thing going so we all stay entertained. But it's not about me and how I feel about none of this or whatever I'm thinking I was thinking. A lot of what I'm sharing is not just rooted in perspective, but it's underlying in truth is too. And everything about this gang culture really applies to you. because when you see these colors come through, it stand out. I don't care where you at, you know what I mean, or whatever that looks like. Then there's some weight behind that, you know what I mean?
Hmm. Got the
Let's
first
fix it.
question.
What we got?
Uh, Woo like Ric Flair
Well,
says, "Were you in a gang or were
was I
you
in the
gang
game?
affiliated?"
Shit, I was in the game affiliated before I didn't even realize I was. You know what I mean? That's part of the surreality of what goes on when you in these environments you brought up in cultures to where it's kind of normalized in a way. It's like it don't even look like it's a gang from the inside, but from the outside, I mean, it clearly speaks what it is. To say I was in a gang, shoot, if anything, I start gangs. So, I mean, let's keep it funky. You feel me? What's
Yeah.
that you say?
So you say you started a gang?
No, I said I'm ready to. If that's what that takes
Oh,
to make
okay.
things great, shoot.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm affiliated. What's the name of this gang we gonna start, y'all? Let's come up with a code click to really do some fun shit. You know what I
Big
mean?
facts.
I'm banging for peace right now. So, hey, man, y'all want to join this gang so we can get some positive things going? We can link up. We could do this long ass handshake and everything, whatever it takes. You know,
So,
and that's something when it come to our attention span too. You know, talking about handshakes, man. We'll sit up there and watch each other practice handshakes for 3, 4 hours before we read a book. You know what I'm saying? So
mm,
it's like they pay attention to how we moving and the way we projecting this energy, y'all. You know what I mean? That's not making a mockery of the culture in any way. I'm speaking actual factuals. You know what I mean? Because from what I understand and learned on this journey, it's literature to recite when you really type. You know what I mean? And the colors that you're wearing are really supposed to mean something upstanding, other than just it's not a fashion show. You know what I mean? It's real principalities behind this. And by the time we break it all down, when it come to that gang culture across the board, principle is principle. You know what I mean? Your principles ain't no stronger than mine for whatever that look like you got going on your mind. That's just the truth. You know what I mean? So what's keeping these gangs from being so collective? Like we keep ourselves being so divided. Of course, there's obvious answers like power, control, and money. But the truth is, it's none of ours. With this power, that illusion of power that we got, if we not using this power to plow a field, let's keep it real. We misplacing this power just like we doing with this hammer. You know what I'm saying? It's a weapon or a tool. It depends on whose hands it's in. You see what I mean? We have the
yeah. So
opportunity collectively to change the narrative. What's up?
so when it comes to hip hop, like
Hip hop.
gangs
Yeah,
have been around for hundreds of years,
for sure.
but I would say in the past maybe 10 to 15 years,
Yeah.
it's like every rapper is affiliated with X gang, specifically Bloods. And I've always said
Yeah.
that, I'm from Atlanta, so the Bloods and the gays run Atlanta.
How about
But that's another story. So I mean, so
interesting fact.
why do you think that shift happened in hip hop where the Little Waynes of this world has to be a blood, the Soldier Boy has to be a blood, um, and then
Hmm.
you have some official people who are actually real gang members, but a lot of people
Yeah.
just, you know what I'm saying? Why
I
did that
got you.
happen?
I got a glimpse where you come from. Why that's happening because it's socially acceptable. Again, who doesn't want to be a part of? Who wants to be left out? And this is also the entertainment business, and of course, there's misrepresentation and glorification of things that necessarily don't have to be. I believe it's happening because we made it acceptable from society, from an entertainment standpoint. You know what I'm saying? From really being out of touch with, and I say this responsibly, being out of touch with higher planes of compliment and entertainment. You know what I mean? Because that type of culture, for real, is not necessarily to be glorified unless it's to really amplify something to be uplifting. Let's look at gangs in the first place. Every last gang that at least is urban based, they started off as uplifting. You know what I'm saying? Something's supposed to be positive. You know what I'm saying? Especially in making direct references to our gangs out west. You know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and say it with the Bloods and Crips. From what I've learned, and I could be wrong, somebody correct me because I'm that kind of grown, let me know that those letters actually mean something that's supposed to be meant for good, if used for the greater good. When do we
Big
allow
facts.
ourselves to get dissolved? Is when we allowed ourselves to get dissolved. You see what I'm saying? So really being about this stuff it goes to show how separated we have allowed ourselves to be when it comes to the umbrella of unity for whatever the cause, whatever the color. My brother is still my brother. And that's from this standpoint. Of course, there are gangs in suits, there are gangs in boots. You know what I'm saying? And it's about being clicked up and standing on what you believe in. Shoot, that's basically the bottom line. And if we all standing for the same thing, I don't care what we call this gang. But until we learn how to really activate our power and manage it in a responsible way, we killing off our own soldiers. Either way you look, it's a bad look, y'all. You know what I mean? And I understand sometimes we say, "Man, well, I grew up like this." Well, true. That don't mean you stuck like that either. You know what I mean? If you choose to stay in that, this is how I grew up. Hey, even the leaders of all the most urban-based gangs, especially the ones that's locked up, man, they making children books and they trying to hold it down for on the righteous side of things for whatever that means. You know what I'm saying? Y'all fill in the blanks. You know what I mean? Look at what someone considered a big homie Tuki was doing when it come to trying to restore order in a way that, look, this ain't even what I set out here to do. Yeah, sometimes you got to cut a branch to save the tree, meaning some branches must fall. It's part of the game when it comes to fall.
That's what's up. Oh, I'm not hearing you. I'm not sure if it's my end or your end. I'm not hearing you now. All them phone calls be coming on your phone.
But like that, are you
Everybody,
still back?
there you go. There you go.
Hey, hey, hey,
Everybody
hey,
calling
hey,
asking
Tuki,
John
man.
Doe.
Yeah, right. Shout out to the person who called me, man. Called me on the show. Don't hit me on my phone, because I got things going on. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So saying that to say that, you know what I mean? Again, with the leaders of today, I noticed that they trying to grab hold of something that had ran away. You know what I mean? Yeah. We all realizing that the money a lot of times ain't even worth it when it's perfect. So hey, we gotta, we got opportunity to change the narrative, y'all.
So
You know what I
what's
mean?
your
If
take on
anything, I
these
want to leave that.
kids on the not kids but the younger generation, like the high schoolers or whatever, and they in these suburban areas and they go to these suburban
Oh
high
yeah.
schools and they just
True.
automatically want to bang. Like I come from
Yeah,
an
yeah,
era where you had to
somewhere
choose
in
a
the end.
side. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So these kids
Exactly.
are
Somewhere like,
choosing to bang for no
yeah.
reason.
Right. And even then, let's say with having to choose a side, whatever that reason was, is the equivalent of no reason because it was a failure to communicate on so many other levels. That's what it came down to when it comes to camaraderie and clicking up, with that type of force is what I'm saying by choice, of course. You say, well, now you're saying, why do they do it now again? To fit in, because it's a trend. And I'm gonna tell you, for all you new babies out there, you see it in the future. You watch this podcast in the future, and you trying to pick what gang you want to be in, like a favorite football team. Go ahead and leave it alone, for real. You don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? These ties running deeper than whatever you need to be entertaining. It's not cool as you think it is. Even if it's a trend and whatever the neck of the woods you in, that shit's really played out. You know what I mean? Because real survival tactics have been in play for a really long time, and you don't want to get involved.
And
Let's
speaking
be
of women,
down to
Soldier
earth
Girl
solid.
says, are women suppressed in gangs? You rarely hear about them being affiliated, but I'm certain they are. So, what's your take on women entering gangs and the state of women and current gangs today?
A soldier is a soldier, male or female. You know what I mean? And when it comes to womanhood and gangs, that level is so subjective. It's like, what role do you play? Like on any team, gangs are teams. They often described as families. You know what I mean? A lot of these families are closer than actual family members. That's just true. You know what I mean? Because we all come together, we would say, in that type of arena to like, okay, who's in charge? Who's the soldiers? You know what I mean? And what does that look like to get this thing in motion? So for females and gangs, hey man, I mean, again, we all got a role to play, and I believe a case by case scenario is what will really be underway. You know what I mean? Because shit, when I think about females and gangs, look, if you build for it, that shows that you stronger in ways than what you realize. And a lot of times our talents are going underutilized. So we resort to being a part of. Again, and honestly, that's what it boils down to. It's that involvement. It's that sense of involvement, that sense of activity, you know. So a lot of these young ones, it's real time recreation. For real, they like gang banging for a hobby. It's really disgusting and disturbing because you're more powerful than that. Just so you know, you know what I mean. Especially if you wasn't born in it or sworn in it in any degree, and you out there in nowhere USA and ain't got nothing else to do today, and you trying to find you a color, go read a book instead. For real.
So you took the question. You
Go
took
go
the
join the
question
test.
right out of my
Go
mouth. So
for
you
real.
said if you wasn't
Go break
born
out
in
some
it
books.
or sworn in it. Uh, so do you believe currently that people can be born into gangs, or do they have to be sworn into gangs? Can you be born
Believe
into a gang?
Yeah, absolutely. Beliefs are subjective, you know what I'm saying, in that sense. But when it comes to family structures, a lot of us carry our family's last name like it's a straight up gang. You know what I mean? So yeah, you can certainly be born into this clique. You could be born into this set. You could be born into this fashion. And that is 100% true. This is how we roll. We are the Smiths and, what I'm saying, O'Doyle rules. You just go there. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? That's a gang. Gang clicked up. We in this thing. When they say O'Doyle's, you finna move. Just know
Hmm.
that. You know what I mean? That's born in it for real. Yeah. Upholding the
Okay.
family name. Upholding the family code.
Primo says, "What do you think that these gangs can do to help keep Georgia blue?"
Well,
That
man,
now,
look,
that, I
this
guess that's mixing the politics and the gangs.
at the same doggone time. I like it. That's fun. That's a fun question though, and I like how they kind of like cross associated. What these gangs could do to keep Georgia blue is really being in touch with what blue is. I mean, you mean from a political sense, right? When it come to having real time weight in these streets, when it come to real decision making power and influence, if these politicians were savvy enough to have backings by what we consider a gang, yeah, that could have a major effect on voter turnout and influence on who's steadfast in being a part of this voter process, which is very sensitive right now. For y'all didn't know, our voter laws are under the barrel. They are, and shots are being fired. Every last one of us when it comes to our voting rights and abilities. We know that it is a very warped and and inconsistent system when it comes to tallying our votes and even letting our voices be present and accounted for. So if we can use this game back into demand a voice from from what we would ordain as a qualified leader or spokesperson for blue in that sense, you know what I'm saying? Certainly. Yeah, we could keep it blue and then make it more than that. You see what I'm saying? Because it's beyond color when we voting Democrat or Republic, but we ain't exercising our democratic power like a gang supposed to. Like, yeah, like red and blue turn into gang membership. There's people who be like, oh, you a Republican? I ain't messing with you. People say, oh, you a Democrat? I ain't messing with you. But at the same time, both of y'all lifestyles and habits is then they're one of the same. Well, all y'all got some liberal ass ways, which is not a problem if that's what you choose. But let's be honest, a lot of us choosing Democrat or Republic because a long line of us before us is. They did. They saying, "Oh, we are Democrats, so you should be a Democrat too," which is like being born in a sense, born into this conditioning to say that I need to be a Democrat because all black people are, which is not true, and that don't make it healthy or right because the way it's looking like a lot of these blue states is finna get all y'all rolled under the bus when it comes to your voter rights and whatever your
Woo!
voice of the free world looks like. So blue this, if that's what that looks like. Is that saying I'm a Republican? Well, shit, I might be if I look at the values of what that
Ah,
look like when it comes to really being free. Let's be honest. So let's say, look, you could be as blue as you want to be blue, but what is you really standing on? You gonna give away your own voice to say you a Democrat? It's time to take a look at where we really at in this game. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna give away your whole weight, your whole soul weight, because you loyal to a decision making process that really don't have nothing to do with you because you ain't even took the time to think about it. Not you personally, not her personally, but in general, that is actual factuals all across the board, y'all. So
all right.
gang
So let me
members,
let me drop
politics,
this one on you. Let
it's
me
a real
drop
thin
this one on
line. It's moving all the time. What's up with you? What you got
you.
for us?
Is local? Everybody always says local, state, and federal politics. Is local government dead? I mean, you have people like Keisha Lance Bottoms, bowed out. She could be a mayor of Atlanta anymore. and then you have a lot of
Understandably,
small towns and infrastructures
so different.
that just people they just don't care about the local government like they once did.
Yes,
So is it dead?
it's dying. You know what I'm saying? Really, it's like we are the knife that is cutting his throat because we so far looking at everything outside of our own neck of the woods, which is another way of diffusing our power. We ain't taking care of our own yards and homes collectively to where we reaching so far into the deepest levels of government that ain't got the capacity or even give a remote shit about what's going on in your neck in your area. So we are killing it by not empowering them collectively, regardless of red or blue. Now there are in some neck of the woods that is exactly what they are doing because they understand that this is how the political science work, that you could make all the laws you want to, but until local, state, and government say that, okay, well, that's cool on the federal level, but around here, this is the tone we got set. You know what I'm saying? This is how we running our game. You know what I mean? And these are our rules. And even if we have the rules, we could pick and choose who's in violation of them, type of shit. You know what I mean? So let's really be serious about this. When we say local, state, and government is dying, we are killing it. If anything, if we wanted to be alive, well, hell, one of us, some of us, and all of us have to stand up and support who's ever the face and voice of our local, state, and government to keep us protected on the home front. Because on a federal level, we are for the birds. Let's be for real.
Wow. There you go. So
You know what I'm saying?
so how do you think Joe Byron is doing so far?
How I think he's doing, I think that's a question that you could ask yourself. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna answer it though. I think he's doing exactly what he's been put in position to do, and that is to fool the fuck out of you and play
Woo!
that role to keep it going, to do whatever he got to get done. Because after his time is up, it's up to the next sucker to fill his slot, and that's been the underlying truth for all these busters that's in power. He's a direct reflection of the foolishness that we have been brainwashed to entertain, just like all the rest of these presidents before us. It's all opinion based scenarios that ain't none of these suckers in charge. And when we
And
gonna figure it
I have
out?
a huge
And
not to cut you off, not to cut you
you
off.
did,
I
but
have
go
a
ahead.
huge
It's
debate in
important.
my household about Barack Obama. And I
Uh
don't know
huh.
if we want to go down this rabbit hole,
I
but
mean,
I
that's what
have
that's
said it.
asking John Doe was for. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
a hole for that. You know what I mean? We're gonna explore it. And look, if for everybody who's in tune right now, if you have a question later on, after we hang up or whatever is going on, and you revisit this episode and you got a question, please let me know later. For real. Put it on ice so
So
we can make sure it stay nice. You see what I'm
so
saying? So
so let me address the
go ahead.
elephant in the room. Do you think Barack Obama did anything
Elephants.
for black people?
You know, other than blow up the balloon, yeah, he did. He did. He gave black people a sense of I can do it. You know what I'm saying? He gave people the illusion of people of color can hold position of that type of power. He did. Directly, like hands on, like say, hey, look, I'm a president and I'm finna do this for the black community. No,
No.
I don't I can't actively recall any directly driven political based scenario legislations or delegations or sanctions or whatever that looks like that says this is for you, Mr. and Mrs. African American. No,
But why
no,
is that so
no,
harsh
because what
for somebody to say? Because we love
colorblind,
Barack so
colorblind,
much. Is
colorblind,
that what it is?
colorblinded. Oh yeah, definitely colorblinded, colorblinded. This man became the president. He got a little bit of tan on him. They say we did it. Well, y'all ain't do shit because at the same time he in position to rewrite these rules that are against minorities as a whole and things that can be done, just like the gay community took full advantage of that sucker because they gave them the money and they swung they ball they fists and swung they baseball bats. You know what I'm saying? At the world to get
Mhm.
some of their stuff, get some of their agendas pushed. We didn't do that together collectively, and I say we, those who I share this melanated complexion with, we did not do that. We rolled off the high of his skin color and say like we did it, but ain't nobody do nothing.
Right.
Literally nothing, nothing. What did we? What did somebody ask me that? Ask me. Somebody answer this. What did we do?
We did nothing.
What did we do? If anything, he
I don't know.
did something. Somebody did something, but collectively we did not. If it was an opportunity missed, hey, that bus is gone already. Or however that looks like for us, unless we voted somebody in. Matter of fact, who is this vice president? Where the hell is she at? It's a whole bunch of shit going on. Ain't
Mm,
nobody said nothing about her yet.
mm,
What's she doing?
mm,
Somebody find her. Tell her to call me. Cause I got some questions
mm.
for her. Straight up. Yeah. Where's she at?
I don't know.
She real quiet.
I ain't
Hmm.
heard from her.
And y'all was geek. Oh man, they're first female black. What the? What's she doing? Where's she at?
She was doing the dances. She was talking about she was listening to the Young
Having
Jeezy and
sex with some
shit. I
more
don't know
shit.
what's going on.
What she do?
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, they're
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, good job. You got us to get the popular vote. You got us to vote them in. You help bring that essence of that presence to help give them the illusion of comfort. Now sit your ass down somewhere is what I truly know and believe happened to this woman, and that's where she's gonna stay until somebody die one day. You know what I'm
So
saying?
what's
So
gonna
shut the
happen?
fuck
What's gonna happen in 2024 though when Trump come back?
up. Hey, look. What's gonna happen in 2024? Everything that you seeing right now, it ain't gonna look like that no more because the people are waking up. You know what I mean? By then, the people are going to be fully aware of we've had power that we've been giving away for far, far, far too long, misplacing our energy, blaming these entities that clearly ain't did nothing for us collectively to help bring us in a better place. Why are we keep trusting the same people that are bullshitting us to make it better all of a sudden? It doesn't make sense. People are seeing it. They are getting it. You know what I mean? On every level. On every level. A lot of us are still in denial, even though we understand that this is exactly what happened. Ostrich, head in hole, cannot remove itself to expose the stuff to this level of truth because it's easier to stay in denial while we tuck our tails and sit on our hands and blame everything and everything around us. Everything around us, other than the nothing that we are doing to take control of our lives, our whole lives. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at
Absolutely.
politics and economics 101, right? Everything that we are paying for in the price of these, excuse me, in the scope of these prices increases. Remember, everything's going up. Transportation, fossil fuels, everything's up. Everything's up. Supply and demand. Supply and demand. We are driving that demand of fuel to supply to make it cost this much on ourselves. Pay attention. No politician is going to do that shit when they're in the best interest of those who are making them all the money too, because they are their fucking friends. Let's pay
Mm.
attention. We all know these truths, but we keep feeding into it as if there are no other options. We give up as society, and I mean that is across the board. This is beyond color. This is beyond age. This is beyond whatever layer of the universe you want. We have literally given up our voice and our power and allowed these poor decision makers to continue to make poor decisions on behalf of our entireties.
Mm. Okay.
You've done that,
So
America.
you
You've done that globe.
you are a vet, correct?
I am.
Okay. Thank you for your service. Now,
You want to
explain to
stop?
me
No, 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 no. Stop. Before the
what.
next person thank me for my service or
Yeah.
tell me Happy
Okay.
Veterans Day on Veterans Day, take this moment to consider what you're saying to veterans. You telling them thank you for your service and sacrifice while you sit at home bullshitting, letting this free voice that we gave you, if that's how you really feel about it, why aren't you using it?
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So thank me by showing me that, hey, we put our heads on this chopping block for you to have this voice, for you to exercise these freedoms, not piss it away with bad decision making voting practices. You see what I'm saying? And if you did
Mm.
make a bad choice to vote that shit in, make the healthy choice to come together and vote that the fuck out. And don't tell me that this stuff ain't coming at a cost, or you wouldn't be thanking us. You
Mm.
see what I'm saying?
You
So
cooking.
before you think another soldier, you know what I'm saying? Look at how you even handling this entire process that we putting our heads on a chopping block for. You know what I'm saying? Thank us
Well,
by making the choices, people. By coming together, people.
mm-hmm.
Thank me by standing up for that person to your left or right, regardless of their color, because we in this bitch together, my brother. Thank me
Mm.
that way. I don't want to hear it. Because you
Right.
can't tell me thank you for your service and then stick your foot out in front of your fellow American or your fellow brother or whatever that is. your own family members, and some more. You're not. That's not saying thank you. That's a spit in the face,
Yeah,
for
that
real.
was kind of along the lines of my question. As far as veterans and troops and soldiers,
Yeah,
how what is the what is the right doing to really get these folks on board, meaning the troops, and specifically the troops and Hispanics?
you asking
Like,
several questions at the
how
same
do they
time.
get these people?
Just
Like,
dumb
how do
it
they get
down
these
real
people
quick.
on board? They shit on the troops and they shit on Hispanics. So you were a troop, you're not Hispanic, but like, how does the right wing get those folks on board to the agenda? Are they getting a special check or
Let's
the benefit that we don't
let's
know
take
about?
wings away from this. I want to you ask a really loaded question, and you damn near
Okay.
answered it for me. But it's kind of like I'm gonna strip it back down to what you're saying. Basically, you're looking at recruiting tactics in a sense. That's basically what you're asking, and you made reference to right wing scenarios as if they are directly responsible for these recruiting tactics. If
No, no,
that's the
no, no. I'm not.
case,
I'm not saying recruiting. I'm saying as far as you when Trump ran that last time, he had an
yeah,
overwhelming response from the Hispanic community and from the soldiers and the troops. Why is that?
in what way? What does that mean? Overwhelming
A
response?
lot,
Could you
a
be more
lot of that,
specific?
a lot of both of those specific communities voted for Trump. The troops and
Is that what the
Hispanics,
news
and
told
I
us?
have no idea why.
Is that what the truth is? That where'd you get this information from?
This is you can look it up. This is real information.
Overwhelming response. What was this response that you
He got
explaining?
he
What is
Trump got a lot of support from troops,
support?
military personnel,
Yeah.
and he got more response from the Hispanic community than, and I don't understand why.
You
Than
know,
he should have.
so then he should have. It's so subjective. And what I can see that comes from, he got the support in some ways that I'm aware of that make that answer your question, and I'm being accurately honest. He got the support that he got from, we would say, troops, and a lot of troops when it come to, this is beyond coincidence, a lot of troops are actually Republican, or they come from Republican type backgrounds, and Republicans are very well known for their interest in the right to bear arms and freedom of speech, and you know what I'm saying. Overall, being able to
Mhm.
totally hate you because it's legal if that's what I want to do because I'm capital A American. You know what I'm saying? And this is my choice and voice. This is my right, and I don't care what you like. You know what I'm saying? Good, bad, ugly, and different. So being a trooper, you know what I'm saying, in that sense, that's like that's the he represented more of what being capital A American for freedom would look like versus some of the others that show up in the form of oppressors. They want you quiet. They don't want you using your voice in a way to where you just saying whatever the fuck you want to on TV, or doing whatever you want to do on the internet. Trump got his influence from being like, look, I don't care who you is or what you from. You're not gonna take my voice. You know what I'm saying? When you come over here in
Right.
the Western world, we don't play that shit. And they like, hell yeah, that just the kind of gang I'm down with. You know what I'm saying? So that's where he got that version of support from, with that ideology that, hey, I could, I could still be American free in the last days. You know what I'm saying? He's the closest thing to a real motherfucker that we gonna see as a president, because he's so fucking stupid that he would actually say the shit that comes to mind with no filter, no matter how incriminating or stupid it sound and look. Not to say I'm in favor with his choices, words, and his decision making practices and some of the policies he implemented or ignored, but who's happy with any of these motherfuckers? At least he was 100. He was retarded, and we knew it. It don't
Ha!
get no more American than that. You know what I'm saying? So that's where he got his weight from. And amongst the Hispanic communities, shit, even though he talking about that fake ass wall, who you think was gonna build it? It wasn't finna be us. If anything, that was jobs being provided. You know what I mean? He was on his bullshit too, but he also, you look at these news clips, it's a lot of real information out there. I don't know where y'all get y'all news from, but it's some real nitty gritty information out there. By the time these memes and stuff come out, and we get half the truth that look like the whole scenario, some of his points was actually a lot more helpful than what these clips and sound bites actually suggest if you was in tune with this shit from A to Z. Now imagine Trump
Mhm.
was down with Pop, Mike Tyson, and some more shit. Now all of a sudden he the president, he racist and all that. Nah, that never was the case for a long ass time. I don't know what made him racist all of a sudden. No more than I cared to vote for the motherfucker as a president, but he had a lot of big puffy got some. I mean, come on, man. I don't,
It's all about that money.
it's telling you, man, it's some strings in there. You see what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
all about the money, all without the money. Hey, we ain't gonna see nothing like that again unless he crazy enough to try it again.
Oh,
You know
he
what I
is.
mean?
It is a
So
fact.
man,
He's
and
coming.
look, and I honestly I can't blame him, and I want that to be a wake up call if you agree with that sucker or not. You know what I'm saying? No more than I'm talking to him like I'm talking about him like I done befriended him as a potential voter candidate, but pay attention to what his opposition is interested in doing, keeping up
And
this
honestly,
illusion
yeah, and honestly,
like the Pied
I mean,
Piper,
Biden was the
Piper
last
friends
one.
do.
Biden was the last one that could stop him, and he
That can
did.
stop him.
Yeah. So when he runs again, I don't know if Biden can beat him. Who else can beat Trump? Biden's
So
already
Papa,
ran.
you can beat them. You see what I'm saying? You stand up, you put your cards together, and you stand strong on the firm of freedom and the voice of the free world for real. You can. Everybody can. Anybody can. But that's when it comes to supporting what makes sense. Not supporting these ideologies of just because it's blue is gonna get us through. That is not the case, y'all.
Mm.
That is not the case. That's what I'm saying. Who can? We all looking around, looking at each other. You gonna do it? I ain't gonna do it. I gotta go to work in the morning and ask people. Get the fuck out of here. Stop
Right.
complaining. Cause ain't nobody doing nothing no way. That's the whole point.
Big facts.
That's the truth that's the truth for the truth. So hey, by the time we get done talking about gang affiliation and politics, you know what I'm saying, depending on red or blue to get us through for my day to day, it's up to me and you, y'all. And that's the way it's really supposed to be. Because though none of these colors matter and they don't have the power that we don't give them.
Mm.
Pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, we could turn this red thing into the majority party is popping this party, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? If we all agree that this is the way we move in this movement and we actually stuck to it, like Solid Gang's supposed to do, we have to. Half of us is too fickle and inconsistent in that space in our interpersonal realm to even extend that grace into this arena.
Mm.
You switch up on your own belief systems. How you gonna stand strong in something that will change the direction of wind blow? Man, pay attention. You know what I mean? This in your hands. This in my hands. That's why I'm speaking on it because I know I can't do it. Should I run for president? Fuck it. Because at the end of the day, we're gonna let the rest of these suckers speak for us in the voice that don't know our language. That's what the whole point of this is about. Shut us up, keep us from voting our voice into power, so we can let the game keep playing because we being played. Period.
Big facts. Nobody's called yet, but 770-852-0569.
Hey, keep all this. Let me run off at the mouth, even though that ain't what this show is
770-852-0569.
about. The name of the show is As John Doe. Hey, now
Ask
let him run off
Jon
at the
Doe.
mouth until he ain't got no more. You know
There
what
you
I'm
go.
saying?
Put it
This is
in the
As
chat.
John
Call it
Doe.
in. Call it in. Put it in the
Yeah.
chat.
And thank you for the people who
770.
send out the questions and the questions that's been answered. Hey, hey, give me a phone call, man. Let's talk about why the sky is blue, if that's what you want to do. I don't care.
Debate
Give
it
me a
out.
call, man. You having problems with your old lady? Hey, give me a call, man. You know what I'm saying? You having a hard time getting your son to take the trash out. You need some advice. Give me a call. You don't know what to make for dinner tomorrow. Give me a call. You know what I mean? Just ask John Doe. We got something for that, y'all. And look, don't get on your own nerves with this conversation I'm sharing with you because this is something for you to take and share with your people if you decide to share. Open up this conversation because it shouldn't be taboo. We shouldn't have to steer away from having politically driven conversations in the workplace. Of course, it doesn't satisfy the interests of the slave mentality while we on our jobs and staying focused on connecting the dots and whatever you're doing. I ain't trying to hear nothing about who running for office, but it happens any damn way. Let's be real about it, y'all. Let's have these conversations and let's look at what real accountability look like. Because there's a lot of times it may make it hard for us to vote. And people say we're not using our voter rights, we're not using our voter laws. Because you know what? We know we voting for some bullshit. If it's gonna be some BS either way, what I'm gonna vote for any one of these suckers for?
Mm.
Let's give each other something to vote for. You see? And that's what we had with the illusion of Obama showing up Like, okay, now I got a reason to vote. Really?
Like that.
You know what I'm saying? Now I got a reason to stand in line. Okay, yeah, and it worked against us every single time because that still ain't did shit for you to this day. Google that. Whatever that looks like. Ask a friend. I want everybody who in tune with this right now to ask somebody to their left and right. Well, what did he really do? What
Mm,
happened?
mm.
8 years.
You said you said that.
What? One question. One question, one answer.
Mm.
Simple. It's too easy. It's too easy. I'm not here to break your back. That's what it is.
Soldier Girl says, "How can we better promote mental health awareness to keep it from being a stigma in the future?"
Ah man, thank
Mental
you for
health.
that. That's wonderful. Mental health. Because everybody's crazy, right? Yeah, keep from being a stigma is keeping it a conversation and normalizing its importance and being supportive of those who have mental health extremes and things like that. You know what I mean, or whatever that looks like, because it can show up as extreme to people who ain't seen it. That's just a real world from a trooper. You know what I mean? Not too much of my personal business, but the truth is the truth. I've been diagnosed PTSD, LMNOP with some XYZ shit. Hey, look, and some more. You know what I mean? But it's something about this world that teaches you not only what reality is consist of and who your friends are, you know what I'm saying? What real support looks like. I mean, it's a really challenging space for anybody to carry when it comes to mental health and to any degree. Again, being supportive to answer the question. Support, 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 support. You know what I mean? Support, support. That don't mean be a crutch. Being supportive don't mean being a crutch. That's not being a babysitter. That's, what I'm saying, showing those that even for those who are directly affected themselves and for those who are on the supportive end of shit, half the time, shit, the people who or the people who are in support of mental health patients are just as much of a damn patient themselves. It takes the patient to be supportive of our help too. You know what I mean? So it's like support, support, support.
So
That's
I
how
mean,
we
so
just normalize the
what
stigma.
happened
We
to
normalize it.
what happened to people just being fucking crazy? Like back in the day, in the 70s and the 80s, it was a
Yeah,
population of the United States that was just fucking crazy. And when you
just
saw
off
him,
the chain.
you were like, "Yep, he crazy."
Yep.
Like, what happened to that? Wow. Like,
So it
why
is.
do we have
Yeah.
to get checked out and get therapy and get diagnosed with some
Right.
shit? You know
So
what I'm
we can
saying?
be
Why can't we
normal.
just be
So
crazy?
so we can be normal. The craziest motherfuckers make the most sense. Let's be for real. We all seen that movie where it's that crazy person on the corner talking about don't go down the alley, the world's gonna end on Wednesday type of shit like that. Don't it always end up happening? See, because the crazy motherfuckers they unfiltered. You see what I'm saying? That's where the stigma come from. Because we off the chain with it. We crazy people could say whatever they want to say versus we the normal people we learn how to bite our tongue and we learn how to be that duck in the row. Crazy is so subjective. Some of my favorite people in the whole planet are the craziest people, the most off the wall because they see things in 3D. You know what I mean? They're not stuck in that coached and trained lane of if I act out or if I express myself or if I'm thinking along anything outside of this invisible line that's been put in front of me, I'm gonna be perceived as crazy all the time. It's embracing that realm. You know what I mean? And of course, when it comes to the hurtful elements like violence and stuff like that, no, crazy isn't being nothing to be made fun of, but that term is being thrown around like a frisbee. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
I
let's go
mean,
back to let's go back to mental health though. Let me be
yeah.
before because time is running thin. I'm gonna come back to mental health and support. Mental health. Health, like anything, is something that is maintained, nurtured, and sometimes developed. You know what I mean? Sometimes we're not born into the most healthiest conditions, but we normalize being supportive to ourselves and our condition and being self-aware enough to understand that I'm experiencing symptoms of these conditions and stuff like that. It's the confidence to talk about it and to accept when it comes to coping skills. I mean, it's a long list of things that complement a wide range of resources that is out there. You know what I mean? So when it comes to being supportive, supportive, especially for our veterans, especially for our single mothers, our single fathers, our folks in the penitentiary, and some more stuff. You know what I'm saying? That is all these things affect our mental health. The conditions that we are creating for each other and ourselves through our poor decision making practices, our lack of love for ourselves and each other. We create more mental patients than we naturally experience it because all of us traumatized to some degree or another, shell shock from neighborhood shit and beyond. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, the mental health is such a sensitive realm to where that need is subjective, excuse me, but for real, it wouldn't hurt for that to be a really serious priority for all of us in this stagnant state since Omarion then showed up and it got us whooped in a whole nother direction mentally. You know what I'm saying? Having fun.
Big
Right.
facts.
Our people so funny with the nicknaming. I love it though, but it's not a joke. You know what I'm saying? We all squirrely to some degree or another to where all our mental health is in question at this place. And that makes us vulnerable. That really does because we don't know up from down, left from right, and we don't know what a good decision from a poor one is when we squirrely. So of course our impulsive nature is going to take presence, and we're going to find ourselves in a really turbulent state, just like we are. Indecision is a lie. So support. Normalizing these conversations about mental health, welfare checks, and things like that is highly encouraged. Because we are going through some things, one thing or one way or another. For real. I worry about people who haven't been through nowhere near none of the stuff that I done seen, did, and experienced. To where I'm like asking, like, damn, are you okay? You know what I mean? I'm so thankful that I've had resources open up to me in the mental health capacity to be able to spot things in people to be able to help me be a better person and a better service member outside of being in uniform. To where it's like, man, I've been a patient for so damn long. I've been a patient longer than most doctors. I know more
Woo.
about their job than them. Facts. You
Mm.
can't tell me how to deal with nothing. You know what I'm saying? You ain't been in my shoes. You don't know what's happening over here. You can't tell me how to cope with shit that you ain't never been through. Educated
Mm.
ignorance is what I call it. You know what I'm saying? So to really be activated in this realm, to be able to spot those with their head on the ground and even those with their chin up, but I could see it on them like, man, damn. We all carrying something heavy as a brick. So hey, look out for your folks, ask that question, and encourage them to be open about what they're feeling and thinking, because the more we suppress this stuff, it's going to come out in one way or another. And that's why we got a lot of folks acting out, displaced, anger, you know what I'm saying, and the suicide rate is off the chart because we don't know how to talk to anybody, because we don't know where to start when it's
Mm.
so much and it's like overwhelming, it's overflowing. Yeah, I'm gonna tap out, then talk to somebody about something that they never understand in the first place, because we so insensitive to that realm. They're gonna end up making a mockery of it. We're afraid of being labeled any more than we are, talking about I'm crazy. I'll show you crazy. You crazy for sitting there thinking like everything all good. Who's the crazy
There
one?
you go.
You fucking with the right ones. You messing with the crazies. You need them as your friends. If that's the case, since we want to throw the crazy world around, you need crazy friends because they make more sense than these normal people. Straight up.
Well, there
That's
you
just
have
part of
it,
the
y'all.
realistic truth. Let's talk about this stuff. I highly encourage hugs in these divided conditions. They don't want us to touch each other. You know what I mean? And that type of intimate connection, it helps break through that force field of defensiveness that come with our mental health conditions. People who easily can push those away when we really need somebody to be close to us the most. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I hate the most. The
Normalize this love.
politics and the agenda. Speaking of politics, I mean the politics that are intertwined inside the
Yeah.
pandemic is just crazy. It's like when it first
It's
comes out,
bananas. It's
social distancing,
bananas.
and
Right.
they
And
just
you
keep
know,
changing.
now we
First, you
talking
had to
about
wash your
mental health.
hands. Now you ain't got to wash your hands no more.
Right,
You're supposed to
right.
sanitize.
And we talk
You
about
was
mental
buying
health.
baby wipes
What
and
you
all
think
kind of
that's
shit.
doing to our minds, man? The
I don't know,
lies and the
man. It's so
contradictions and
confusing.
the exactly. And you don't think that's directly affecting your mental health, y'all?
I
Pay
think so.
attention. It's wearing us thin, like skin. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's wearing us to the flow because we don't know
Mhm.
what to do no more. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? We looking for those who don't know no more than us for answers in ways that we don't even know how to ask the questions. Yes, we are
Motherfuckers was wiping off their Amazon packages at the door.
Oh yeah, spraying them, Lysol. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You could get sprayed from the head to the floor before you walk through this door.
What- Come on, man.
I'm
But
trying to tell
anyway,
you.
I
Yes,
think
the
that's a
truth.
good place to end because we go down this
Yeah.
rabbit hole all night.
Hey man, because that's what it's for though. Man, the name of the show is Ask John Doe. Bring it to me. You never know how this might go, but one thing we're gonna do is bring it all home for everybody who don't know what's going on. Today's topic was about gangs and politics. As little as they have nothing to do with each other, they have everything to do with each other. Sometimes, depending on perspective, y'all, that's what we're here for. Is to shine some light on dark things to make it bright. And just know
Hmm.
that look, I'm here for you and y'all just like I want y'all to be there for each other. Call me. Talk to me about anything. And thank you for that question about mental health. Thank you for all those viewers who stayed quiet in the background soaking up this game. At least you left with some light on your brain. If you disagree, call me. You know what I'm saying? But whatever that looks like, we can talk about it like we should be able to anyways. I'm not here to fight.
Hmm.
I'm here to make things right. And anybody who with me, come on and get me. Take me to the liquor store because I'm ready for a
There
drink.
you go. We out.
Made it out the hood, man, I didn't do this on
Hey,
purpose.
appreciate everybody for
I had
tuning
to
in
prove it
tonight.
unworthy.
Primo, Soldier Girl,
You know it's
Wood
people
Like
wanna
Ric
murder
Flair.
me. I moved a few of
Who
them
else we had in
birdies.
here?
They was sweeping on Tuesdays and Thursdays. No, see me ballin', they
Too
threw me
many
a
to
jersey. This time I
count.
came home with the urgency.
Appreciate
Put
y'all.
myself where I deserve to be.
Next
I can't
week,
be G, I deserve it.
same time,
They turn it
same
back,
channel,
they
9
hurt
o'clock,
me.
every
I'm just a
Wednesday.
man, I'm not perfect.
Ask Jon
I'm
Doe.
just a man with a purpose. See, I base myself on
770-852-0569,
loyalty. I base myself
y'all.
on loyalty.